Checking my notes, checking my notes. My notes are excellent. I'm Jordan Middlebrook, and welcome back to another episode of By the Wayside. On this episode, we're going to be having Canadian comic book icon, Scott Chantler, and of course, we have Twitch creator, artist, and another Canadian creator, Leslie Doyle. She's here on the show, so stick around. We'll be right back. You know what I really love is I absolutely love the new opening graphic. I know we've used it now, what, 3 episodes? 3 episodes now, and I can't get enough of it off of oh my goodness gracious. If I stop talking at any point, it's like my brain shuts off. I think at least one time per episode here on By the Wayside, my brain just goes, zip it, Jordan. Really interesting. Before I get into a couple of my things for Jordan's opening, last episode I had Chris on. Chris was helping me out as like my background character. I called him my producer, but I don't know if that's necessarily the best title because I am lucky enough that I got another person in today. Katrina is here. Katrina is taking background photos. Hi, Katrina. I don't know if you can hear her. I didn't give her a mic. You don't get a mic, by the way. You can put your hands so they know that you're real. Yeah, there she is there. So she's helping me out here with the background. So a lot of the photos that you're going to see maybe on this specific episode or even on social media, I'm going to throw up the new social media handles here. And you can go to the website, which is just the YouTube channel. But excuse me, Katrina's really helping me out today. So this is awesome. We're slowly building piece by piece a fully functioning, working unit of creative people, because that's what this show is. By the Wayside, I'm your host, Jordan Middlebrook, and this show here is its mandate, its mission statement is to connect you to creative people, and today's episode is chock full of creative people. Excuse me. I should have swallowed before I went on that huge rant. Here's something interesting. The other day, I was in the car with somebody, and I'd said, I'm not a music guy. And funny enough, it was my sister that I said it to. She's sitting right here. And I don't find that music instills emotion. I've never like, no, I have cried. Oh, crap. I was going to say I've never cried listening to a song, but I have cried listening to a song. And I'm going to tell you what that song is. And it was Cleaning Out My Closet by Eminem.
Before they throw me inside my coffin and close it, I'ma expose it. I'll take you back to 73.
Back, I think my sister almost spit her water out. But this was back when that album first came out, and I was listening to it, and I cried listening to the song. And I have to tell you, the interesting thing about my sister being here on this episode and helping me out is I'm almost dang sure I was in her car listening to it on her CD player. I'm almost positive. She might not remember it. I might have hid my crying very, very well. I'm not a music guy. Nothing really like inspires like these things. You know, sometimes if I'm doing my job and I need some motivation, I'll listen to Bonnie Tyler's, what's that hero song again?
Mariah Carey?
No, not Mariah Carey. The Where have all the good men gone, and where are all the gods? That song gets me pumped up. I'm more of a movie guy, and a little later in the episode, I say something about movies, of course, and RoboCop. And if you know me, RoboCop. But I'm more of a movie guy. Movies inspire me a lot. Like the Justin Long movie, Accepted. There's something about that movie that really gets me going and pumped up. Makes me feel like I could be better than who I am. That's a good movie, you know, and other movies that really inspire me. I mean, I lived my whole life and started my whole basis of who I am back in the 90s by watching Army of Darkness. So very much influenced by movies as opposed to music. So I'm a movie guy, not a music guy. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. So what else do I have? Oh, the other day I was online and someone had said it only takes 30 seconds to make a person's day. And I don't know where I saw that. It was probably on Threads or something. And the point of it is that if you see someone and you like something that's happening around them, maybe when you're near them, when you say, you know, your presence around me makes me feel good. Or you see them in their car, because we're on Main Street in Newmarket, Ontario here at Wayside Comics, and they drive by in their car and you run out there and you say, hey, I really like your car. It's making people feel good, and it really only takes 30 seconds of your day to do that. And I really took that to heart, because I actually wrote 30 30 seconds to make a person's day. I wrote it down here. I know you. We zoom in. No. Okay. Oh. Whoa. Got too excited there. Yeah. Okay. So let's just call it there. On today's episode, it is, like I had said off the top, it is a jam-packed episode filled with amazing creators. Leslie Doyle, Twitch streamer and artist, is here. And of course, Scott Chantler, Canadian artist and creator. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Trina, right? Yeah. Okay. We'll be right back. Welcome back to By the Wayside. I, of course, am your host, Jordan Middlebrook. And with me today, like I had said at the top of the show, Canadian creator Scott Chantler. Scott, thank you very much for taking the time, really, to come and spending a little bit of time here with me at Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I will go any distance to talk about myself. We could have been doing this in Thunder Bay. I just would have left last night.
We both go to a different location completely.
That's right.
Just to prove a point that we will go anywhere to talk about ourselves. Is there a camera there? Are there microphones there? Yeah, I'm going to be there 100%. So I'll get right into it. You've been nominated for a lot of awards.
That's true. He said humbly.
Okay. We had talked off camera earlier, the perpetual nominee.
Yeah.
You've been nominated for a lot of awards and you've won some, but is there an award that means the most to you?
Well, I got to say, like you say, I've been nominated for a lot of things. I call myself the Susan Lucci of comics. For those of you daytime television fans out there who get the reference. The only thing I've ever actually won is the Joe Shuster Award for Comics for Kids in 2011 for a book of mine called Tower of Treasure. So I got to say, just by virtue of having actually won it, that's my favorite. They went the full distance. They went through the nomination and into a win, which I really appreciate. And that award is, I don't want this shop to get jealous, but that award is associated with the Dragon in Guelph, which is a terrific store run by a terrific lady, Jen Haynes, and they sponsor that award, and so it's meaningful that way.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, interesting.
But I would still love to win an Eisner Award one of these days because
why not?
It's kind of the big one, and
it's like the Academy Award.
Exactly, and Will Eisner was kind of my guy, so one of these days I'm still shooting for it.
Well, we'll get there. We'll help you out and get your name out there some more, any more than it already is. An institution of independent comic creating, Scott Chantler.
Wow.
So I mean, thanks. I didn't even write that down.
Wow, he improv that at my urging. I was kicking him under the table.
He elbow dropped me as he came in. He's like, "Say something nice.
Tell them I'm an institution."
Scott, your work is it's a fantastic mixture of fiction and nonfiction. But is there one genre specifically that you'd really, really like to tackle?
Yes. I have gone back and forth in my career between sort of historical work and fantasy and, kind of adults for one book and for kids the next book. I actually just finished the last 6 months. I've been writing a script. Okay. It's really unlike anything I've written before. It's not historical. It's not fantasy. I'd be hard to, peg a genre on it. Really something new for me.
Well, that's cool.
It's a bit of a small town murder mystery. It's a little bit autobiographical. It's a little bit magic realism.
Oh, that's nice.
I get it. It's weird.
It's like yeah. It's like when it's the alternate history movies. Like what if someone had not sunk the Bismarck?
A little bit.
Is that correct? Okay.
So, if anything, I'm kind of moving away from genre and into just kind of stuff that's a little more tailored to just my own personal desires when I'm writing.
Well, if there's anything over all the course of the episodes, if there's anything that anyone knows about me is that A, I don't like Lord of the Rings, but B, I'll put RoboCop in absolutely anything.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
If I could get the right, Omar just there.
See, I kicked him from under the table from way over there.
My favorite part is when Omar comes in with audience participation moments. It's always it's a fun, more improv that happens here on By the Wayside at Wayside Comics in Newmarket, Ontario. Thank you, Omar. I really appreciate it.
This is a great shop, by the way. People should come here.
I agree.
Like, why doesn't every comics shop have a bar? And every bar have a comic shop, for that matter.
There should be a new bylaw/law that's passed through the Ontario legislation and then go higher to the federal laws, where
Right to the top.
if there's comic books involved, there has to be a bar involved. If there's a bar involved, there has to be comic books involved. I'm on board with that.
Let's make it happen.
It's happening right now.
Right to your members of parliament.
There you go. I'm gonna clip that. That's a good clip. I myself come from a visual arts background. I'll stop with that idea right there. But
now I want to know more because you're being mysterious.
There's no more other than that. The artists aren't made; they're born. And as you grow and realize, oh, I'm really good at art, individuals like yourself, you grow, continue to improve, find new ways to improve your art. I said the same thing twice, just in different ways.
Yeah.
Is there an artist that helped to inspire you as you grew?
For sure. I think artists are born to a certain extent. Like, skills you can learn, but yeah, I think the desire to do it is always there and is innate. I, like a lot of kids in my generation, I kind of grew up reading superhero comics and stuff, and kind of learned to draw a lot from, trying to ape what Neil Adams or John Byrne or John Buscema or somebody like that was doing. But who really caught my attention as a kind of a late teenager was Will Eisner.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I would have stayed interested in comics into adulthood as either a creator or a reader if someone hadn't turned me on to Will Eisner when I was 19. And I can tell you who that person was. It was Ty Templeton, who is a Canadian comics institution. And he was the first comics creator I ever met.
Okay.
I met him at a convention in downtown Toronto in 1991. It was one of those little shows with only 3 guests. Comic-Cons have changed a lot. Like three guests in a little hotel lobby. And he took some time. He looked at my crappy 19-year-old sample pages that I brought and really took them apart and explained to me how he would have constructed the pages and how he would have thought through the stories and all that stuff. And then he told me, and read Comics and Sequential Art by Will Eisner.
Yeah. So
I immediately went the next day, bought that book, consumed it, realized Will Eisner was a genius. We were just talking about the award that's named after him. And from that point on, got all the old Spirit, kitchen sink magazines that I could, any Spirit reprints I could get my hands on. And since then, Eisner has just been the one. That's who I've been trying to be. Not just in terms of how I draw and how I tell stories, but also in terms of sort of how I conduct, like, on top of being a creative genius, Will Eisner was also a really great businessman.
Yeah.
He didn't go the Marvel DC route, back in the era where that was pretty much the only route you could go.
Yeah.
He made a point of owning his own work, decades before that became a thing in comics. He really blazed a trail on that. Every day at my desk, I'm just, what would Will Eisner do? He wouldn't spill his drink, for starters. It's too many. Three sips. And
we're done.
That's it. It's over for me.
YouTube's like, no, we can't show this.
Will Eisner.
That's cool. I don't consider, if I was to look at, to take it all back to me, if I was to look at my artistic influences, I wouldn't consider Will Eisner. It's just a different art style, something that I'm different to. Also, if you're saying that you were 19 in 1991, I was only 11, so
I'm old,
very old.
Yeah.
But I grew up in the comics age where, like, the 90s. That was when I discovered comics. It was Jim Lee,
right.
And then it was Image came out in 92, so I was very much a part of that whole. Look at all of these big guys. Look at all these scratchy dot marks. So Chris Bocciolo in the mid 90s.
Sure.
I really like Chris Bocciolo. Ron Garney's a big fan of. He's not a big fan of mine. I'm a big fan of Ron Garney's. And then even Alex Ross, because Alex Ross, that was his time to shine, right? So so Will Eisner, Yeah, that's a really interesting choice.
It's, I mean, even for me, like it's going back a couple of decades, but you know, you really want to kind of find out who your favorite artist was,
Yeah,
because that's probably the guy, right? That's probably the guy who invented all the stuff that we're all trying to do. And,
it all comes back to Jack Kirby. Let's just be quite honest.
exactly. Well, Kirby worked for Eisner for a time, and I've always thought of them as kind of the two. Those are the two career paths you can take, because you know Jack Kirby was very much a Marvel DC superhero,
Yeah.
you know, a freelancer, but very much a you know a company guy, and Will Eisner was like, yeah, I'm doing anything but that. I'm gonna
The grandfather,
Right.
the godfather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work for work for newspapers and anyone who will let me own my own work. And yeah, it's I always feel like those are you're either an Eisner or a Kirby.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's the Beatles or Rolling Stones
Yeah,
argument. Yeah, that's
exactly.
interesting. Scott, where can we find you online?
You can find me online at scottchantler.com is my website. I'm not using a lot of social media these days, but in as much as I am, it's Instagram where I'm at Scott Chantler. And
It's easy to find you then.
yeah, exactly. Just Google my name and you'll find where I hang out.
Just don't click the images section.
No.
That joke was too funny. Sorry, Scott. I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to come and spend with me to talk about you. Well, you'll go anywhere to talk about yourself.
We've established that.
And I know you brought a couple books, and I know that one of them is up. And if we mentioned it, Omar, I did an Omar Recommends with Squire and Knight.
I saw that episode.
You have two more there. Can we see those two?
Well, yeah, the Squire and Knight is my newest, but Two Generals is one of the books I'm best known for. It's about my grandfather's experiences in World War II. Awesome. We were talking about nonfiction before.
Yep.
Vix is a book that not enough people know about because it came out in the pandemic, which is not the time to release.
So what's interesting about Bix, though, is when you were doing Bix and you were doing Instagram lives and you were coloring Bix, that was when I discovered you. The budget of this show is just astronomical.
See, we got a stand for this
one stand,
but they can only afford one stand. So this one is.
This is when now someone said something. Omar's going to show up with the stand. I guarantee it.
Here he comes.
But with Bix, I had watched you doing the coloring on Instagram Live when you were doing Bix, and that's when I personally
you've been following me that long. Good.
Yeah, that's a number of years.
Okay, well, good.
So you know that I'm not blowing smoke up your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is the Bix work is where I discovered you and where I realized, like, oh dang.
Well, that's good to know because not enough people know about this book because, like I say, it was released at entirely the wrong time. You know, most of the people who know about it are probably in this room right now.
Well, now everyone's going to know because.
But yeah, I like to highlight this one. It's also nonfiction. It's about and look, there's Spider-Man having a delicious cocktail here at Wayside Comics and Cocktails.
I love you, Omar. Thank you, Omar. We got to get a green screen.
Yeah, I love having just a background character come in and
supporting cast,
do some background comedy.
Again, Scott, thank you again so much for coming and being a guest here on By the Wayside.
You're very welcome. I like the show and I like the store and I like everything and everyone.
All right, well, thanks again. Don't go anywhere because we have just a little bit left here in the show, and we'll be right back. We have what we all like to call Omar Recommends, where Omar recommends a comic book for you, sometimes for me, because almost every time he recommends something, I get it, I read it, I love it, and today is no different. Omar, do you have a book for us today?
Do I ever?
Does he ever? I love it. I absolutely love it when he comes prepared.
All right.
And you know I come prepared because I always got the little stand for us here. Of course. So what do you got for us today, Omar? Oh, of course, we have a guest coming in.
This is live.
This is
live.
Real. 1 second.
This is real. While Jordan's away, I'm going to introduce.
Hi, Leslie. I'm just going to get you to go say hi to Scott and his wife for a second, and I'm just going to finish off this little segment with Omar Recommends, and then I'll get right to you. Please and thank you. That's why we're doing a show here at Wayside Comics. Omar, what do you got?
All right. So today I'm going to share, honestly, what is our best ever selling graphic novel in the shop. And this one means a lot to me, not just because the people involved I love and they've been just so kind to the shop and they're great friends of the shop, but this is a phenomenal graphic novel and everyone should read it. I'm talking about Dead Romans by Fred Kennedy, Nick Marinkovich. from the Shadowline Image Comics. This is a phenomenal book. So like the writing is superb and the artwork is gorgeous. Give you a little bit of backstory. It's about the betrayal of Arminius's betrayal to the Roman Empire, and it's all framed around that big piece of like actual history. But there's a deep love story in the center of it, and a lot of action around a character called Honoria.
Honoria.
And her love affair with Arminius, and her need to fulfill the honor and duty that she has to a Roman general, and then her love for Arminius and how Arminius sees her in the grand scheme of things as he is trying to free his Germanic people and basically fight the Romans. But yeah, it's if you like history, there's a lot to love in here. If you love historical fiction, if you just love a good story, there's a lot to love in here. If you love action, if you like things like Centurion, like those old school sword and sandal epics,
yep.
The artwork here is very cinematic in scope. It's very beautiful. I actually want to just flip through a little bit of it because Nick's artwork is not just. There's one thing I always love about a book, which is when you look at a cover, you're always like, oh, that's a dope cover, and then sometimes you open the book and you're like, oh, the art's different.
Yeah.
But the thing about Dead Romans is that you look at the cover, you're like, oh, that's awesome, and then you look at the art and you're like, oh my god,
it matches. It matches it.
Yeah, like you're not missing anything here. You're constantly winning as you're reading Dead Romans, and there's an abundance of beautiful back matter in the book as well. The presentation they did for this is absolutely phenomenal. Not only do you get all the awesome variant covers and everything, it's oversized, so it really pops Nick's art. And like I said, Fred being the history buff that he does a wonderful job framing everything and really bringing the characters from history to life. He really gives everybody a voice. Every character, like I said, every character does have a voice, even the smallest characters.
Yep.
And it's very well defined. In this story, there was a lot of loss of characters, but it's one of those things where, like, when you're watching a really good ensemble piece in like a film, you really care when every character dies, when they go off screen, when they're doing something. Every betrayal matters, every heroic feat matters, and that's very, very prevalent in this book. And I honestly can't say enough good things about Fred's writing. And again, when you couple that with just, it's no secret that we love Nick Marinkovich's artwork here. My very first piece that I got for the wall was from Nick, this beautiful Volstagg, but his work is just unbelievable, and I can't wait to see what they do. There is a volume 2 of Dead Romans coming out. They're working on it right now. I can't wait to see what they do with it. But again, this creative team, I do want to shout them out specifically because when we went to Fan Expo with just a hat, a business card, and then just a dream of the shop itself, they were the first creators that really just like stood up, shook our hand, was like, yeah, man, we'll definitely be there for you when you open. Let us know. Here's a bunch of stuff for the shop. And they were just so kind and so generous with their time. And they were here for our grand opening. Yep. And they keep coming back. And I honestly can't say enough good things about them. So Fred, Nick, and everybody involved in the Dead Romans team, Allison O'Toole, you guys are such lovely folk. And thank you so much for everything you do. But thank you so much for making this amazing book. And this book has brought a lot of people together in the shop. It sells a lot of things, it's created a lot of fans, it's kept a lot of our customers, believe it or not. And again, this is my best-selling book. I cannot keep this book stocked.
It's the glue that binds, definitely. Yeah, it's interesting.
We've sold more copies of this than anything Marvel, DC, and Image. Like I can say that, like 3 books combined, we sold more of this than anything else in the shop.
Wow.
by a large margin. And there's a reason for that. And it's not just to do with the fact that we pitch it or we sell it to you. People come back and ask for volume 2 all the time. It's a phenomenal book. Please read it.
There has never... Omar, oh my goodness. There has never been, that was a passionate recommends. That was intense.
Well, it's like this beautiful coalescence of things. I mean, not only did we make some amazing friendships because of this book, but again, the book is just great. I'd heard about this book peripherally, and then just having it all come together, reading the book, really enjoying the book, getting to know the creators, and again, having that friendship with the shop and them, it's been amazing. And this book, like you said, it is the glue that binds a lot of things in the shop. And I still have like that first print set that they gave us for the shop. I actually keep that separate. It's like a nice little memento.
Cool.
But yeah, it's pretty phenomenal, and
awesome.
It means more to us than just what's in the pages.
Yes.
And like, this is my personal copy. I mean, I got this one signed by Fred and Nick with a nice little remark from both of them.
Oh, signed.
So,
I
mean what I say. I even have all the single issues all signed by the whole creative team at home. But like, this book means a lot to me. And like I said, it's not just because I know the creators and stuff like that. It's because this book is an excellent example of what good storytelling is, and I can recommend it with my whole heart.
Yep.
And because of that, like it's created its own. Someone once called our friend Roddy the Roddy vortex, and I'm going to say this is the Dead Romans vortex. It creates its own environment for people, and like I said, anybody who reads it, we have a lot of customers who like bonded over this book, and like this was our kind of start for the shop and our first creators that we got in and all these kinds of things. So it means a lot to us.
Definitely think of Wayside Comics when I think of Dead Romans, I think of Wayside Comics. So it's interesting that you've recommended it, and I got to tell you that was possibly one of the most passionate Omar recommends, and I love it. I love having you come on and recommending stuff, Omar. And don't go anywhere because we have just a little bit left in the show, so stick around. You have anything you want to say before we go? You got 2 seconds.
I just want to say, Fred, Nick, we love you guys here at Wayside Comics, and thank you guys so much for your friendship. And please keep writing some awesome books. Like everything you guys do has been pretty incredible, and I can't wait to read volume 2.
There you go.
Honestly, as a fan, I can't wait.
Awesome. All right, stick around.
I have a quick question.
Of course.
I want to ask you 2 questions. Do I get to interview you back? Am I allowed? You're gonna love them. I
Okay,
promise.
I'll laugh. Don't tell me them though.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
Perfect.
This is all, by the way, I'm keeping this all in. Welcome back to By the Wayside. I, of course, am your host, Jordan Middlebrook. And with me today is, and I want to make sure I get this right, Twitch streamer, artist, and creative Leslie Doyle. Leslie, thank you much. Thank you much.
Thank you much, Lee. Very much. Thank you.
Oh my God. Maybe you should interview me. I suck.
Welcome much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and being with me today, talking about what we're talking about, everything I just said at the top there.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you again. This is the show of us saying thank you, and
The
you're welcome.
Canadian stand-up.
Then everyone in the background is going to come in.
Yeah.
"Oh, sorry to interrupt.
Sorry.
Just a scooch.
Pardon,
Let me
my
squeeze
bad.
through here. Yeah, sorry. Did you say tartan? Are you wearing plaid, sir? Leslie, you're an artist. You're a Twitch streamer. You're a creative person.
Mhm.
Your art itself. How has your art changed your life as you progressed through your career?
Okay, well, it's interesting because for a very long time, early on in my career, I didn't call myself an artist, or I delineated between my friends who went to school and,
Oh yeah.
sort of they were the real artists, and I was a like hobby artist. And it took a couple years into doing conventions and things like that, where I had a peer who I really respected. He said to me one time, he's like, I can't do what you do.
Interesting.
And that was a real sort of eye-opening moment for me of like, oh, like only I can make the art that I make.
Yeah.
And so that really changed the trajectory in the way that I saw myself as an artist. And from that point on, I was like, I am actually an artist. And I like the imposter syndrome's a huge thing, right?
Yes.
So to be able to sit among people and consider them, instead of considering them artists and me not, to consider them, peers and also people that I respected and admired. So,
I like that when another creative person says to you, "Oh, like because your art itself is original, inventive, and creative to yourself."
Yeah.
So I really like that someone says, "Oh well, I can draw hands, but I can't draw hands like you can."
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, I can't draw hands. That was like telling you I can't draw hands.
I mean, it's the one thing that we all hide, right?
Yeah.
Every panel starts out like this when you're first, when you're starting out, hands and feet. You keep them away.
But on top of art, which it'll pop up on the screen when we're talking and all that really fun stuff, because I don't just have the benefit of being the host, I also get to edit, so I can put whatever I want on the screen. So if you want, because you go by Aquagem sometimes,
I do, yeah.
and I mean, I've been calling you Leslie, but if you want a picture of a dolphin, we'll put a picture of a dolphin right there. There's a picture of a dolphin.
Beautiful.
Tell me about your Twitch channel.
Okay, so I started on Twitch because we had a pandemic.
Yep.
And I know, right? Shocking. Or some people called it panini at the time. And I was really missing the community around doing conventions. That is where I get a lot of my inspiration, a lot of my energy, my creative energy. That's where I kind of replenish is at cons. I get so inspired by everyone I'm with and all the artists and just the energy of it.
Yeah.
And so I was really struggling creating during that time without a community. And so I had been watching a lot of Twitch streams.
Oh, yeah?
And I decided I wanted to try it out. And like, I think I started in October of 2020. And I did my first birthday charity stream the following year in June. And we were raising money for a charity called Raven, which
Okay.
is respecting. Now I'm going to forget it.
Cut that.
Yeah. It's an Indigenous charity
Okay.
because at the time there were a lot of issues on the table, and we raised like $1,600.
Oh, wow.
And I only had like I think 200 or 300 followers at the time. Like it blew me away, kind of thing. And slowly, it's built into this really wonderful community, and we've been able to do a lot of good with it. But also, it's a source of creative energy for me. They inspire me. We have so much fun.
Yeah.
It's such a great laugh. It's
it's almost like now streaming and what we're doing right now, they're very synonymous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, while me, whatever, we don't have instant feedback.
Yeah.
Like with Twitch, there's chats. Is there audio chats?
No. Well, unless I include other streamers or something like through Discord.
I've only kind of watched a couple. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not a big watcher of Twitch, but I've caught a few here and there, and I've only ever seen chat. So I wasn't 100% sure if there was an audio version, but I guess.
Well, I can put in, for example, commands that will play certain sounds. So I have certain people in my chat who, when they come in, they can type in a command and it'll play a sound on my. So one of them has like a Darth Vader rubber chicken entrance, and like.
I really gotta watch this stream.
It's very fun, but also, yeah, the level of engagement is compared to because I've also made YouTube videos and other content, but the level of engagement on Twitch, because it's live and you have a live chat with you and you have people who hang out with you for like 4 hours at a time. Like, I mean, you'll know if you do YouTube that like you can see your viewership kind of drop off within the first few minutes.
Yeah.
You've got to keep it short.
Yes.
TikTok's like this, right?
Yes.
So to have people come and spend 4 hours with you while you play a video game or work on art is like amazing to me, the level of engagement that you get.
So it really is. I mean, because you're talking about community, you're engaging with the community, the people that are watching you. You're doing the things that you really like, artwork, gaming, talking.
Charity.
Oh, damn.
It's great.
Maybe we should,
I
should start a Twitch channel.
I'll set you up anytime.
Oh, dang.
It's so fun.
Oh, dang.
It's so fun. Also an excuse to play video games. Like,
well,
honestly,
I don't need an excuse.
No guilt.
I'll just play video games. But I know literally the only game I play is Fortnite, and there's a lot of Fortnite people out there. So maybe that's what I should stop doing by the wayside and just Twitch Fortnite. So my sister knows very well. She's just shaking her head there. She's like, this friggin' guy. Shut up, Jordan. You also do artwork. We had talked about that. With your photorealistic artwork, of all of the work that you've done, who has been your favorite individual to draw, to create?
I have a couple special pieces for different reasons. My Leia Organa piece. Well, I started. It's actually 4 portraits in the one piece because there's one from each of the original films, and then when we first see her in The Force Awakens.
Oh, okay.
And I started that piece before she passed away. And then when she passed, I kind of dove into it because I kind of wanted to spend time with her, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense.
Yeah. And so I finished it. And that year at conventions, I sold the print, but I took all of the proceeds for the year and donated it to the International Bipolar Foundation in Carrie Fisher's name.
Oh, cool.
And for the year, I think we raised, it was almost $700.
Wow.
And so that has really special meaning. And I still have people who stop at my table because there's a quote underneath it about hope. from the films, and I still have people who stop and either get emotional
Yeah.
or have a moment with
Yeah.
it, and so I think that's probably my most special piece.
I like that. That's really, and it's a really good story that goes along with it. Because sometimes when it comes to artwork, you make art to make art, and that's not a knock on any artist or creative person in general. But then there are those really special pieces that mean the world to you as the artist, and then when you see that projected out into the world, and it means something to other people, as the creative, the artist that does that. Fuck that. That's actually the first time I said the F word on the show. But damn, that's good. That's really good.
I've had people come to me and tell me personally that my art has saved their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's an incredibly humbling experience because in my head I make pretty pictures, and to have someone say I actually carried this with me because it had so much meaning and it got me through a really dark time. Like I'll get choked up. Like you don't expect that. It is a form of communication. You want to reach out to people. You want to connect. That's what art is in its base form. So, but you don't expect that level of connection.
I could imagine that's like knock you on your ass. Like, oh,
truly,
dang,
truly, yeah.
Leslie, not to do like a complete 180, but where can we find you online?
You can find me. Instagram is probably where I'm busiest, and then I always post when I go live on Twitch there. I am on Twitter. I'm not going to call it X. I'm pretty much on all social medias, but I think I'm most active on Instagram, and that's at aquagem_art.
Awesome. Well, luckily enough, everything you've said will come up below you, so no one's going to miss anything. Now, I'm going to thank you very much for taking the time and coming and speaking with me here on By the Wayside at Wayside Comics in Newmarket. Stick around. We have just a little bit more left in the show, and don't go anywhere.
I have a couple questions for you.
Leslie, we'll get there. Just 1 second.
I'm excited.
Welcome back to By the Wayside. I know it's an unorthodox thing that we're doing here now. There's like multiple segments. I'm going to get like 19,000 segments out of this episode. Before we started the episode, actually, no, you said it on camera.
I think I did.
So I really have to do it now.
Yeah.
Leslie said there was a couple questions that she wanted to ask me, and we're going to do them right now. I don't know what they are, so I don't like that, but we're going to do it anyway. Leslie, shoot.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me again, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
As we all know on By the Wayside, you are a big fan of Christmas.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of Christmas.
So I've been just dying to know your top Christmas song.
Oh, this is like my content.
And your top 3 can't be Christmas until you watch them Christmas movies.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the second question about Christmas movies.
Gotcha.
So
there are wrong answers in this. I just want you to know.
I do agree with you, but also you had talked about how an art piece is like we had talked about an art piece is like personal to that person.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get you on that one.
All right, I'll give it to you.
But I'm gonna say one thing that's really funny is I don't watch quote unquote Christmas movies. Right. So like Hallmark movies and things like that. I couldn't even tell you. Like there's a Netflix movie. What is it called? The Santa Chronicles or the Christmas Chronicles?
Oh yeah, I actually have watched those.
My sister not like shaking her head. I've never seen them.
They're great.
I'm a huge Kurt Russell fan. I'm a huge Santa fan. I'm a huge Christmas fan.
Very fun.
Never seen them.
Okay.
So my Christmas movies, we'll do the Christmas movies first. So it would be Gremlins.
Gotcha.
Willy Wonka, the original with Gene Wilder.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we don't mess around with the original version. And a third one I'd actually have to think about because there is that sort of like 2-week in between, of like quote unquote holidays. The
Christmas haze.
Yeah, the Christmas haze where you don't know if it's this year or next year.
What day of the week it is. Yeah.
So it's a really tough one, but it would probably be like a Marvel movie. In recent times, probably Infinity War.
Interesting. Okay.
And you were probably looking for something like It's a Wonderful Life.
Well,
or
Willy like Wonka. Classic Christmas vibes.
No. It's no Christmas movie. Other than I guess Gremlins is considered. It happens during Christmas.
Yeah, tangentially for sure,
but not Die Hard.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm. Those are intriguing choices because, like, for my husband, it's Sound of Music because that's what they
okay.
always watched. Like it was on TV because he's from Ireland, and
Oh.
that was what they showed during that week, kind of thing. So for him, in his mind, that's a Christmas movie.
Interesting.
So I wonder if Willy Wonka is kind of like that for you, maybe,
Yeah.
like in that way.
I don't know.
It's, like,
I don't know how
become a tradition.
I think because it played on TV every Christmas.
Yeah,
and that's
what I'm
where
saying.
it
It's
came
like,
from. So I have a DVD copy.
yeah. Gene Wilder, though.
Yeah, damn. I kind of got lost in that.
Me, it's got to be White Christmas.
Okay.
Like that's. I mean, I'm a musical girl too, so yeah, White Christmas, and then the original Alistair Sims Black and White Christmas Carol.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
is,
yeah, okay.
Like, you know, I quote it constantly. It made me so very happy. But and then third, it kind of I like to go for a modern one, so I like Elf. That's
oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm pretty, you know, milquetoast as far as it goes. I'm a basic girl.
You can say bitch. I'm not offended. The internet
With
can
my
just
latte and my. But yeah.
Okay, so then the music. If anybody follows me on social media, and I'm going to put that up here, they know that I still listen to Christmas music. Currently, right now, while we're filming this, it's the end of May. This episode will be June 15th. This is when it comes out. So I guarantee that I will be still listening to Christmas music. There's like Christmas, I'll throw on like a streaming, I'll just say play Christmas music. But the one I always listen to is Michael Bublé's Christmas album, because that's the king of Christmas.
Quintessential.
Yep. So my top three, though, traditional Christmas is that Marshmallow World.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know who sings it. You know, everyone knows it. It's a marshmallow world in the winter.
Do you like you like the Bublé one though, but
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
really bouncy, like jingly, like it's a marshmallow world in the
No, I like
winter.
the lady that sings
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I can't remember
okay.
what her name is. And then there is a Michael Bublé song, and it's the one with the Pop sisters. You know, Merry Christmas, ladies. Merry Christmas, Mr. Bublé. You know, oh, it's Jingle Bells, Jingle Bells. I love that one.
Okay.
And then there's White Christmas, and it's the Bing Crosby version.
Yeah.
But I love that one.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that song. So whenever it comes on the radio, like I'll stop streaming. I like radio stuff, and I'll play radio music, even commercials and everything.
Yeah.
As long as it's on the radio over the Christmas season, the earlier the better. Like if I remember during the pandemic, one of the major radio stations in Toronto.
Tell me you've never worked retail without telling me you've never worked retail.
Yeah, no, that's not true. I worked retail one Christmas season, just one Christmas season.
All right,
and it was like heaven.
You were not inoculated. You
No,
were okay.
Christmas music all the time. I should just have a Christmas show. Leslie, thank you very much for asking me those questions. That was kind of fun. I'm gonna get
See?
other guests to do that every time.
There you go.
It's more talking about me. I love it. It's now the Jordan Show.
Oh no! What have I done?
You've done something. Trust me. The beast, the juice is loose. Not the Beetlejuice. The Christmas juice. Okay, I'm out of here.
No.
Get out of here. And that was an episode of By the Wayside. I thank you again for joining me here at Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario. I again am your host, Jordan Middlebrook. And if you hadn't noticed over the course of the episode, whenever I mentioned the Instagram handle, I changed the Instagram handle. It used to be at Wayside Show, but it's now at By the Wayside Show. Yes, that's what it is. I think that's what it is. I can't remember. But Katrina, it's like I have a person now. Could you double check to see if that is it at By the Wayside Show? Is that the new handle? I know it's going to come across the screen here, but I'm genuinely curious. She's going to double check that, and I'm going to tell you, don't forget that if you're really, it's called By the Wayside Show. Thank you, Katrina. And one of the things that I also want to remind you is that we have a handy dandy Patreon, and I'm going to throw that link up too. Some really fun things happening. You can contribute and be a part of the community. And I have to thank Wayside Creative. You can find them at this website here too. And that's it. That's a show. That's By the Wayside. I'm your host, Jordan Middlebrook. And of course, what do I say at the end of every episode? I'll catch you by the wayside.